For the duo aerial apparatus, there's multiple things to take into consideration. The biggest part of which is that it needs to be able to support two performers. The structure, there's two different ways to approach it. One of which is to have the apparatus itself be its own character and have the performers interact with it. Another approach would be to have it be more minimal to show off more of the lines of the performer. The big thing is in designing this element is that it works within the design of the stage and the overall landscape of the show. We definitely wanted to keep that modern look, but in creating the apparatus, we want to make sure that it provides multiple different ways for the performer to interact with the apparatus. They need to, figure out if they can hold on to different parts of it or hang, do knee hangs, hang from their foot, whatever all the craziness that they can do is. In thinking about how this apparatus is in the space, you need to think about the fact of whether it can spin. Is it picked from 2 points, 1 point, 3 points, or is it supported from the ground? These are all different considerations to think about while designing this piece. The dance sculpture is something we also want to keep with that modern look and feel. The dance sculpture should be something that could be integrated into the scenery as well. Is this a piece that lives on stage, or is this something that is brought out for this specific piece? In approaching this element, we want the visual perception of this to be strong and to be a climactic point. It should be something that multiple performers could interact with at any given time, and that they can interact with in different ways, much like the aerial sculpture. We want to be able to have performers be able to go through it, hang off of it, climb on top of it, and work with it in multiple different ways. Another interesting thing to consider while designing this piece is does it transform during the piece? Does it start in one look and then develop into another look, or does it move, or is it a stationary piece, kind of changing and having the sculpture rise with the climax of the music? We want the performers to be able to be integrated into the visual elements of the show. There's multiple different ways we can do that, using different layers, using different techniques with lighting and projection. Some things to consider while designing this piece is, what type of visuals you want to use, whether it's projection, whether it's an LED wall, whether it's other types of lighting sculpture that then the performer can interact with so that there's a cohesion between the two elements of the show. For the performer and visual interaction act that we're having you guys design, there's multiple things to take into consideration as well. What type of visuals you're going to use, whether it be projections, lighting with LED walls, or other lighting sculptures. And by performer, we mean it could be a dancer, it could be an aerialist, it could be a musician. And what is really important about this piece is that there's a cohesion between the performers and the visual elements.